This is a story about how a questionable relationship between an adult and a minor turned into a successful family business generating millions of dollars in revenue and tens of millions of subscribers across multiple YouTube channels. From reactors to pranksters to manufactured family vloggers, the Prince family has ensured that no moral conundrum or shred of family values could stand in the way of their online money printing machine. Now, this story is near and dear to my heart because 6 years ago, in 2016, the second commentary video that I ever made included a segment about the Prince family when they were initially having their blow up on YouTube. I'm talking OG commentary Leon Lush when I was still voicing over shitty animations and wasn't even showing my face. I'm going to show you a clip from that video right now that is no longer public for undisclosed reasons to offer some nostalgia for you longtime viewers, but more importantly, provide some context about where we're headed as we talk about the Prince family today. All right, let's type in prank on wrong and see what kind of humorous content we can find.
Wow. It's your boy Damien, and I'm back once again with another prank video. Yeah, that's right. I'm back. 2 pranks in a row on Bianca. Let's get it, man. Let's get it.
Well, this is a guaranteed treat.
I know what would make Bianca mad. I'm basically, you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna have my phone upstairs on the computer desk. I'm gonna ask her to go get it for me. And you know, hopefully she go through it and shit. She go through it.
Oh, of course she's gonna go through it, because what's the hallmark of a great relationship? Not one single shred of trust. So I'm just gonna blast through the next 10 minutes for you, which is filled with mostly just piles of shit and the cringiest acting, and we eventually arrive here.
Dude, what you doing? It's a prank.
I'm taking my son.
But it's
a
Oh man, you really stuck it to her, brother.
She's crying. She is crying. It's a prank, look!
In the arms
Of a shitty abusive couple exploiting me for views on YouTube. What the fuck? This sucks. Get me the fuck out of here, please. I need a new home. Now, 6 years is an eternity in internet time, but some things never change. Like them subjecting their young children to emotionally stressful situations for the sake of their YouTube channel. Now, tens of millions of subscribers, a few YouTube channels, and 4 kids later, it's still the same turd, just polished into a shinier YouTube diamond we've all come to know as family vlogging. The Ace and Prince family formula of manufactured private moments and exorbitant displays of wealth built on the backbone of the exploitation of their unwitting children. So let's dig in, but before we do, I'm going to take a moment to talk about today's video sponsor, ExpressVPN. I know you guys are pure at heart because you watch wholesome YouTubers like Leon Lush, but I've heard rumors that there are horrifying websites out there where you can actually see pictures of breasts. I know, unthinkable, right? But even worse, what if you, or probably more likely a friend, were to accidentally click on one of these sites and everyone found out about it? Well, that happens all the time because internet service providers track practically everything that we do online, and they can sell this data to whoever they want. Incognito mode, it's just a novelty to make you feel nice. That's why I use ExpressVPN, because it is the best way to keep your online activity private. There's no downside to remaining as anonymous as possible online these days, and ExpressVPN gives you peace of mind by encrypting your network data and tunneling it through a secure VPN. With 2 clicks, you can connect to countless servers in over 90 countries worldwide. It's fast, intuitive, and makes taking your security seriously an easy decision for once. I use it on my Mac, PC, laptop, phone. They have an app for any device you're using so you can remain secure whether you're at home or on the go. It's a great time to try ExpressVPN. And for less than $7 a month and a 30-day money-back guarantee, it's easy to get started. So find out how you can get 3 months free by visiting expressvpn.com/LeonLush or clicking the link in my description box below. I appreciate you guys. Now, that clip you just watched was part of the intro to a YouTube video that came out this week by a fellow YouTuber of mine named Aubrey. It's called The Perversion of the Prince Family, the Worst Family on YouTube. It's an essay-style video. It's longer, like 40-something minutes, but it's extremely well done. And if you're at all interested in this family in depth, I highly recommend checking it out. Now, since my video from 6 years ago, I've seen various controversies pop up surrounding the Prince family, whether on my Twitter timeline or YouTube videos being made about them that have been on my radar. Aubrey does a fantastic job job summarizing some of the more prolific moments over the last 6 years in their career, and I'll be referencing a few of those clips moving forward.
But what if there was a channel that did all of this and more? A family channel of gross content built on dishonest clickbait who used the health and well-being of their own children as a means to generate obscene profit.
Now listen, I love a good success story as much as the next guy, about people that come from nothing and scratch and claw their way to success and riches through sheer determination and will. And over the past decade, YouTube has been that gateway for so many people, just giving them an opportunity to take whatever means necessary, uploading anything they can possibly think of to be as shocking and insane and clickbaity as possible to eventually find that audience and make a ton of money. And the Prince family has done it all, from the earlier days when they ran a YouTube channel called D&B Nation where they were doing scripted couples pranks, eventually abandoning that channel as their family channel became more developed and it was more profitable to just exploit every single private moment of their little toddlers' lives. Now, I'm not against showing your kids to the internet. Some people are incredibly private, like Casey Neistat never shows his children's faces, which I respect greatly, but we do live in a world where everything is so accessible, and eventually, you know, they're going to be able to make that decision themselves, so it might make sense to give them the opportunity to make that decision themselves before you make it for them. I have a 4-year-old, and I'm comfortable showing his face on the internet, and he's occasionally made his way into videos over the years, but it was always my personal value that I would never make content that relied on him for the content until he gets to an age, if he wants to, be part of making content in some capacity. But if you're running a channel in a business that revolves around the inclusion of your children who don't have the capacity to even say no if they don't want to be involved, to me, that feels incredibly exploitative of the people you're supposed to be the most protective of in your life. But there's no rules around this shit. If there's the potential to make millions of dollars by turning your rotating cast of 4 children into a content farm, of course people are going to take that. Now here's a piece about the Prince family's origin story that I had no clue about that I thought was rather interesting.
Damien met Bianca at work back in 2012 when he was 20 and she was 15. Yeah, no, you heard that right. So when he's talking in this next clip, just remember he's talking about a child.
So, I'm going over there teaching her how to, put the pepperonis on the pizza, talking to her, trying to get her comfortable because I know what I wanted at the time. You know what I'm saying? I already had my eye out.
Yeah, they started dating when he was 20 and she was 15, which could be interpreted as not good.
There's been a lot of things that have happened over the years of them being together that I've had a hard time dealing with.
Yeah, so not everyone was on board with the idea of that relationship. Shocker, I know, but regardless, they didn't care, and 2 years later, Bianca was pregnant with her first child at the age of 17 while Damien was 22. The same child that was the star in their now deleted video that I was commenting on 6 years ago in that video clip I showed you.
I was messing with like 23 girls at the time. I was talking to Bianca from time to time, and I started talking to another girl, then another.
Well, regardless of age, I'm glad you finally found the one you could get pregnant and start a multi-million-dollar YouTube channel with. What a feel-good grooming story.
22-year-old Damien got 17-year-old Bianca pregnant not long after, to which Little Caesars responded by firing Damien on the spot.
By the way, when Little Caesars found out Bianca was pregnant, they fired Damien, which gives you a little idea of how other people felt about the relationship at that time. So you're out of a job, your back's up against the wall, you got a kid on the way, what do? Well, why not start uploading videos to YouTube? And upload they did. Right at the time, couples channels and fake pranks were at the peak of popularity. They absolutely won the YouTube algorithm lottery. With timeless classics like Hickey pranks on boyfriend and cheating prank with boyfriend's best friend, they cleared $18,000 their first month on YouTube. And in the second month, they made $100K. Now, I don't get mad at people for making money, and make money they did. Over the next several years on D&B Nation, they continued their uploads, realizing that the farther they push things, the more money they could make. Getting their families involved in the pranks, staging fake fights in their wedding day.
What do y'all prefer, to spit or swallow?
Spit.
Harmless would you rathers on their channel geared towards children.
What's good, D&B University? You already know what it is. It's your boy, Damien,
Bianca.
and today, guys, we're gonna show you how to become successful just like us on YouTube.
Now, this is probably one of my favorite parts of their timeline in 2017 when they created their own university for teaching how to for teaching people how to be successful. But the problem is, nothing is ever delivered. The Ace family, the Prince family, we saw it with Jake Paul. What I believe happens is when you become super successful online and you're making all this money and you have a huge audience, you get seen by a lot of people that are like entrepreneurs or run businesses and understand how selling courses on the internet works, and they get in touch with you and say, hey, we can either front you or make you a ton of money. Just pair up with us. We'll help you produce this course that teaches people how to do what you did, and you can sell it to them and make a shitload of money. And of course, they make a bunch on the back end. And what happens almost every single time without fail is what is delivered to these poor souls that probably don't have a lot of money, that are desperate to fucking find a way to make money online, send their money to them and get delivered an absolutely dog shit product and are left with basically nothing except a little bit less money. From what I understand, that is what happened here. There seemed to have been a fallout between the production company and Damien and Bianca. Nothing was really ever delivered. And in their defense, I do believe they did end up refunding the money for the people that bought the course. But it's always interesting to see how far people are willing to go to milk their audience for all that they're worth.
Primarily thanks to this winning thumbnail and title combination. While I shouldn't have to point out the obvious, the Zam, she's 12 thumbnail paired with this unsavory reaction made the rounds on Twitter and Reddit as a meme.
So over the years, they have several more questionable controversies, this one being one of the most ironic given the origin story of how their relationship started.
Matter of fact, what is the legal age of consent in the United States?
It's not 15, I'll tell you that much.
In September of 2019, Bianca and Damien were slammed again for colorism when Bianca, who is biracial, plays a prank on her husband in a very peculiar disguise. A disguise that opened an entire debate on whether or not biracial people can be guilty of blackface. Taking over the role of an inappropriate caricature, Bianca tricks her husband into thinking she was an Uber driver, transforming herself into the character of...
My name is Baby Shaquita. I'm about to be a ghetto girl. I gotta learn how to talk. How can I talk? It's your girl, you know what I'm saying? Okay.
So this controversy might be my favorite because she does blackface, but she's mixed race. Now, in the clip we saw there, it does seem pretty insensitive. But I'm just a burly white dude that lives in the suburbs, so I don't know the deeper rule book to blackface. I know it was considered comedy like 30 years ago, and now it's basically considered a hate crime. But what about if it's a biracial person doing it? Is it like half as bad? I mean, these are the tough questions we have to ask ourselves. Now, controversies aside, a lot can be said about family vlog channels like the Ace family and the Prince family, but you certainly cannot say they don't make a shitload of money. I mean, you just search the Prince family on YouTube and the top 2 videos that come up are Ayla has a very high fever and Nova got hurt. Both thumbnails exploiting the emotional and physical distress of their children in order to get people to click and make them money. Now, there's no rules against this. I fucking hate it, but what are you gonna do?
The breakfast
So
room
it's supposed to
refund.
be living, breakfast, and then kitchen?
Between flexing new multi-million-dollar homes every 2 years to your pleb audience through, official new house tours, and then just manufacturing as many ways for your children to get hurt as possible, you have endless amounts of content you can work with. I never personally gave much of a shit about channels like this, outside of it just being content I thought you had to be brain dead to enjoy, until I had a son of my own, and it makes me think about it much more. The bottom line always boils down to this. As a family vlogger or prankster, how far are you willing to go to create the shock value necessary to keep the money in the view train going? Are you willing to embarrass yourself, your spouse, your kids? Are you willing to sacrifice close relationships with family? Are you willing to use your children as props and willingly subject them to serious emotional distress before they're self-aware enough to understand what's going on? Also, you can live in a bigger house or drive a cooler car. For the Prince family, the answer is yes to all of those questions. There's no gray area. They've displayed a remarkable ability to ignore sound reason and the well-being of their children if it means a high click-through rate on YouTube. And as you well know, they're not alone. The most popular family vlog channels have all gotten to where they are because of how far they're willing to push the paradigm of what's considered acceptable. Fake apologies get made, videos get taken down, but the money and the views keep rolling in because humans are emotional creatures and love a good controversy. Meanwhile, millions of kids around the world that aspire to follow in the footsteps of these charlatans they watch every day develop a distorted idea of what a meaningful relationship and family looks like. And the can continues to get kicked farther down the road as they embark on their own journey of self-discovery using counterfeit online lifestyles as their guiding light as how to live their own lives. Now, I'm sure there are family vlogging channels that remain genuine and include their kids in a capacity that doesn't reach an unhealthy level. But it's the channels like the Prince family, the Ace family, and all of their copycats that will continue to reap the greatest rewards from the algorithm overlords that we all serve. Strength of character, integrity, morals, and boundaries, values that I believe are essential to living a meaningful life, are not rewarded by online culture. It's almost always the people that are most willing to be pieces of shit and act like fools that find the biggest audience and command the greatest influence over our youth. I'm not sure what the solution is. I'm sure a lot of you don't have kids, so you don't really really think about this shit, but every parent has to deal with this on an individual level with their own kids. Like, I don't care if my son hears a few swears or catches a violent scene from a PG-13 movie or hears an edgy joke. I worry about walking in my house and seeing my son watching the Prince Family or the Ace Family on his iPad. Probably I would just have to euthanize him at that point. It's been a palpable shift the past 10 years in what character traits are valued by society and what people aspire to be based on reactions you can now get by being the opposite and posting it to the internet. So it'll be interesting to see what happens over the next 10 years, because these last 10 have been fucking insane. And, you know, hopefully I'll be sitting right in this chair still talking about it. As always, I appreciate your time. I hope you are well, and I hope your kids don't grow up to watch the Ace Family. We'll see you in the next video. Peace.